Page 16, Song at Twilight. There are two versions of this song on this page, number one, number two. I'm going to cover them both here. Now, at the top of the page, they're talking about melody, sing the melody, and I already talked about this in the previous video, and I'm going to hark about it quite a bit. The melody controls. The melody is what it's all about, so the melody is what we want to hear. Everything else is just to support it, so you play the melody louder than whatever else is going on, if you can. Melody can be anywhere, with either hand, you never know, it's just, ugh. In this piece, the melody's in the right hand. 3/4 time. They say waltz tempo doesn't help much because you can have slow waltzes and fast waltzes, and okay, how fast do you think a waltz should go? You know, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or maybe a slow waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'll leave that up to you. When we do the play with me, we're going to go slow. This is in the key of C major. You're going to start out in C position, not because it's in C major, but because that's where the notes are. Maybe I should explain that too. How do you know where the hands go? Because right now we're in C position for everything, but we're not going to be there forever. How do you know? And what I do is I look at the first few notes and finger numbers, and I see where they're at. I'm starting out with in the right hand, third finger on the E. There's nothing else given, but when I look at the notes, I see they're all within this position. So I'm in C position. In the left hand, it's a C chord. That puts me in C position. So I'm in C position. Case closed. Then we have phrasing again. You see the two curved lines? So between the end of the phrase, the F, going on, I'm going to lift up. And so a little silence in the right hand. Not the left, just the right. The left can be legato. We'll talk more about that later on. Right now, just make it legato. The idea is you're doing different things with the hands, and that's what I'm encouraging. So it's the fourth measure with the F in the right hand, the dotted half note. And then going on, I lift the right hand up, I leave the left hand down, and then I play them both together. So it's 1, 2, 3. It's a small point, but when we play piano, we get into small points. Same thing in the second line. You get a break in the phrasing. Then look at the last two measures. In the right hand, those two C's are tied. There's a curved line connecting the C's. Don't confuse it with the phrase, the curved line above. It's the same symbol, but for different things. The curved line below those C's is a tie. You tie the notes together. So you're going to play the first C and hold it down for the length of both. In other words, 6 counts. We're going to hold that down for 6 counts. However, the left hand isn't tied. Chords, in this piece, they're not. There could be, but they're not tied. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm going to play the chord in the left hand in the last measure, but I'm holding down the right. That's important. And that's number one. The number two is the same thing, except they're changing the pattern in the left hand. And they're doing, this is a broken pattern where they're connecting the first two notes and then they're staccatoing the other two notes, so it's this. 1, 2. Very common in waltzes, although they may not be staccatos, they may just be unconnected or disconnected. So some people would call that a staccato. It's a long staccato. Whatever, I don't care. The point is they're disconnected. And what this does is it reinforces the natural accent. And you go, whoa, what? Natural accent? Every measure, every time signature, whatever, has natural accents. And the strongest natural accent there is the first beat of a measure. Any measure, in any time signature, doesn't matter. The first beat of a measure is the strongest natural accent. A natural accent is simply an accent that happens naturally. You don't make it happen. You feel it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 in a waltz. And this pattern helps reinforce that. It brings out that pattern. So it's very common. So if you're going to improvise, this is one of the patterns you can use for the left hand. Not the only one, but it's one of them. that comes in handy. They are pointing out one more thing, which I would point out eventually, but okay, I'll say it now. It's important that as you are learning to play the piano that you develop a feel for the keyboard. Where the keys are in relation to where you are. I'm not talking about keys far away, I'm talking about keys close. So here in these primary chords, for instance, try and get where you can play these primary chords without looking at the keyboard. It's where you can feel your way, because you're moving around a little bit, but you're not moving very far. That's important. So here on the number 2, well, on both of them really, try and get where you can do it without looking at the left hand. And that takes a little practice. You have to look at first, but eventually you want to get to where you're not looking down at the keyboard for everything. You got too much other stuff to think about. Some things are going to have to be automatic, and this is one of those things. Now, just briefly, a little bit about playing staccato. There are different techniques for playing staccato, and you'll find other videos on YouTube explaining how to do staccato. In this case, in this piece, with these chords, I'm going to do a light wrist staccato. I'm going to hinge at the wrist, and the movement is actually very small. I tend to exaggerate it for the videos, but it's quite small. And it's boom, 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 boom type thing on the staccato. So let's try these out slowly together. I'm going to do number 1. I'm going to count us in. Then I'll announce number 2, and I'll count us in for that, and we'll do number 2. Just to check the notes and the rhythms. Now 3/4 time I'm going to give us 3 counts. Now remember the dynamic that MF applies to the melody. So you keep the left hand under that. Whatever MF is to you, that's what it is. So C position. 1, ready, go. 1, ready, go.